Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot's here, and it's Thursday morning, so we're doing the Thursday Tank call-in show. My phone is here. If you want to call in during the show, I'll put you on the air. And today we're talking about the CEBL playoffs. Yeah, I'm doing more focus on CEBL this summer because honestly, it's a great product, and I believe in it, and I think that more people should get into it. Seriously, we as Raptors fans get starved for basketball in the summer. We all pine for the Raptors season to start, especially since the schedules come out now, and we all kind of want basketball to start again. Well, a real easy way to get a little bit of a basketball Jones fix is watch the CBL, watch the WNBA, watch the FIBA action that's going on for pre-qualifiers for Afro Cup and World Cup and America Cup and Euro Basket and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, there's good basketball on TV right now, and the CBL is some of the best basketball in Canada right now. Now, there's 4 teams in the playoff weekend that started this yesterday in Winnipeg. Now, they started with the coaches' press conference. The way the CBL lays this whole weekend out is really a big event. This is a 5-day event, guys, that starts on Wednesday, really. And they had the coaches' press conference where they have all 4 of the coaches for the 4 teams in the playoffs sit and they take questions sitting next to each other. So it's very interesting. That's not a normal thing where they do the coaches all sitting together, all 4 of them talking about them all going into the playoffs. And, it's fantastic. Today, they will have an awards ceremony tonight. The CEBL Awards will be tonight, where they'll give the awards to the players for the season. And then tomorrow night is when they will play the 2 semifinal games. And then the finals will be on Sunday. And all of this takes place in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And, not only do they have the games, not only do they have the press conference, not only do they have the award show tonight, they're going to have concerts going on. Sean Desmond is there. They're going to have all kinds of games and different events for the whole community to celebrate the CBL and their championship weekend. So it's bigger than just some games. They make it into something like the NBA All-Star Weekend. They make it into a big event with a lot of little events around it to get people more engaged, more aware of the Canadian Elite Basketball League. And I think that they're geniuses for it. I think that the CBL is so smart about what they're doing. I mean, it's really hard to start a league and get it successful, to get it more spotlight, get it more attention, get it going. It's really, really hard. You need a lot of capital. You need a lot of people working together. And at times, you're not going to make as much money. You may not be profitable in the beginning. And it's dangerous because you could fall real early in the early seasons. But the CBL has done a good job of building each year. And I feel like their numbers are going up more and more every single season. I mean, I symbolize that. Did I cover the CBL last year on this channel very much? No, I did not. And this year, I have covered it extensively at times with at least 5 streams this summer dedicated to talking about CBL for the main subject. So this is growing. This is something that's awesome. And especially in today's day and age of support Canada, elbows up, let's support Canadian businesses. The CBL is a Canadian business, guys. And, some people say, well, Raptors Freak, you're all about support Canada, support this, support that. Why are you an NBA fan? Why are you a fan of the Raptors? Well, they are the Canadian team in the NBA, and I get it. The NBA is a big U.S. corporation. And in some ways, I have to come to grips with how that situation is as far as my fandom of the Raptors and my own personal beliefs. But you know what? The CBL, in some ways, is a great pivot. And it's a great product that I want to fully endorse and support also as a 100% Canadian product. So, yeah, let me get a poll up for you guys right now. I want to put a poll up for today's stream, and I want y'all to call into me today and make a pitch for the teams in the CBL. We can talk about any subject. If you want to talk about Bobby, we can talk about Bobby Webster. If you want to talk about anything Raptors, that's still wide open too. The central focus of the stream today is the CBL playoff weekends, but you guys are welcome to talk about all the normal kind of things that we talk about. All right. Let's see. I'm going to make a poll right now. And Let's see. I'm going to say CEBL playoffs. Who you got winning it all? And I'm going to put the 4 teams, and I want to see what you guys will put in. All right, let me put them in the right order. Calgary first, because I believe they're alphabetically first, and then Niagara, and then Scarborough, and then we got Winnipeg. Now I can go over each of the teams and give you kind of a background, because I know a lot of you guys may not be that fully versed with the CBL and its product and its teams. Now, the 4 teams that are in the playoffs for the CBL this year all have very different paths to getting the playoffs. We'll start with the host team, Winnipeg Sea Bears. Winnipeg Sea Bears are in this round of the playoffs mainly because they're the host team. They did not earn a spot to be in this playoffs because of their record. Their record is 500. They're not a winning team. They're a 500 team. They featured Jalen Harris of the Raptors draft pick, former 905 and Raptor Jalen Harris, a fan favorite for some of us in this chat. So he's their best player. Winnipeg is hosting the weekend, so they get to play in the semifinals automatically. They didn't qualify for the spot for the record. They're only in this tournament because they're the host site for the year. Now, if they had won a lot and got in there, their seed would have changed. But because they have to predetermine when this weekend's going to be, the host weekend gets an automatic bye to being a part of the Final Four of the CBL. Some people may think that's not a good idea, but I think it's kind of cool. They have to plan ahead. All right, we got our first caller today, guys. Caller, you're on the air. You're on the Thursday Think Tank with the Raptors Freak. How are you today, sir?
What's going down? It's your boy Seymour Paper.
Oh, snap. It's the sheriff. It's the city slicker. It's Seymour Paper in his life. And he has the 4 quarters for us, I'm sure. The 4 quarters with the sheriff, Seymour Pape. Yeah, 4 quarters. You got the first one for me, sir?
Yeah, I got to bang these out because I got over 40 different schools I got to mail some shit to.
Okay, so this is a fast break for 4 quarters. And, all right, let's hear it.
Okay, so the first one, did you see the Raptors, the comedy show Just for Laughs?
Yeah.
Did you see the Raptors episode in it?
No, do you mean they had it with like Raptors players in it, or were they doing it with like the Raptors mascot or something?
It was the Raptors mascot and a bunch of like jerseys and stuff. So my first one to you is, which 8 teams do you think the Raptors featured in the Just for Laughs comedy?
Which 8 teams were featured in the Raptors Just for Laugh comedy?
Yeah, they were dissing these 8 teams.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a good thing.
Okay, so the Raptor was like doing things like messing up the mascot or a guy in the shirt of that team or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say Boston was one of them.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You got that one.
Celtics were one of them. Yeah, okay. Was the Knicks one of them?
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, yeah. Philadelphia. What's that?
It's not going to be that easy. Hold on. What's your next one? Philadelphia?
Philadelphia, yeah. No, not Philly. All right. Can I get 3 strikes? So I have 1 strike. I can get 2 more and I'm out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'll go random. The Lakers.
Okay. Yeah, you got 3 in there. Okay.
I got 3 out of the 8. Okay. I'm doing good. All right. Dallas. It's 2 strikes. Okay. Miami Heat.
You're out.
I'm out. Oh my gosh. All right. Who are the other teams, Seymour? Please, sir.
Did not mention the Nets.
The Nets, of course.
The Thunder.
The Thunder. Okay.
The Pacers.
Okay.
And the Bucks.
And the Bucks. Okay. That's interesting. That's very random. Very, very random. There's like the Lakers and the Thunder were the only 2 West teams, right?
Yeah, Lakers and the Thunder were, yeah.
So I'm curious about this. Where did you watch this? Because I want to watch this Just for Laughs Raptor episode.
It's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube?
It's just like it looks like an immigration border. That might have been set up in the stadium, but it's like an immigration border. and they had people coming through wearing the opposite team jerseys, and they were getting flagged for no reason. Like, nah, you can't come into the country. Sorry.
And the Raptor would come out, and he was like the immigration officer or something like that.
Yeah.
That's so stupid, man. That's pretty funny. All right. Second quarter, Seymour. Second quarter.
All right, second quarter. So, on the Raptors official website page right now, right?
Okay.
What two players have the same jersey number? Don't look. Don't cheat. I'm watching it.
The Raptors official roster page. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. There's two players with the same jersey numbers. Who could it be?
I think right now on there, and it'll change. Is it I want to say that it's I want to say that it's Colin and Jacoby. No. Did I get either of them right? Did I get either of the two people? No. Okay. Can I get two more guesses?
Yeah.
Okay. Then is it Elijah and Jacoby? Oh wait, why did I say Jacoby? No. Okay.
Almost strike.
All right. This is the last chance. These are weird trivias today, man. I'm going blind on these. All right. Is it Chucky Hepburn and Bruno Fernando?
No. So you still have all of that.
Okay. What are the two names that are on the roster that have the same number right now?
Oshai Abaji.
Okay.
And Olivier Sarr.
Okay, Sarr. Okay, and they both wear number. It's 3, right? Or no?
I think we are 30.
30. Yeah, 30. They're both wearing 30. Yeah, Sarr's not officially a Raptor, so but I mean that's his number from before, so that's interesting. Okay, so Sarr wears number 30. I keep forgetting about Olivier Sarr, that he's in the fold with us right now. It's pretty cool. So all right,
so
Seymour.
Third one is I want you to elaborate more on what was yesterday. What was said, what I put in the chat was Ocho Cinco on his podcast with Shannon Sharp said that he called out Brandon Ingram, said that he dissed the culture of New Orleans, Louisiana basketball. He was going in about the food, the architecture of the place and everything, and saying, why would you leave the 40 mil on the table to go down to go up and play for Canada? And it's like he sold out the country and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on that? But hold on, too. Yeah. Shannon Sharp did say that it was a good move for B.I. because in his view, it wasn't about the money. B.I. went there because he wanted to win.
Yeah.
And then Ocho Cinco even took it even deeper and was like, what do you mean you want to win? So he was sort of counting us out.
Chad Ocho Cinco. Yeah. All right. I get what he's saying about New Orleans. New Orleans is an interesting city that has a great cuisine and culture and a lot to it. And in some ways, but listen, Chad Ochocinco, Brandon Ingram's been there for how many years spinning his damn wheels as Zion Williamson stays ballooned and off the court and other people that jacking him around in the front office and the coach. Why would he want to stay in an environment where it's just toxic and it's not going well? Now, Joe Dumars is going to try and start fixing things. In fact, I've seen a video of Joe Dumars calling Jeremiah Fears yesterday like he's Masai Ujiri and saying, oh, you ready to be here? Are you ready to come in and win? He sounded just like Masai. It was almost like Joe Dumars is copying him. But I mean, listen, I like that Shannon Sharp stood up the other way and said, look, he wants to go and be somewhere where he has a better chance. I think that Brandon Ingram's biggest drive is to reclaim his status in the league as far as who he is and what he can do on the court. And I think that Chad is just a xenophobe. I don't get it why he's being like this. If you're talking about food and culture, the switch from New Orleans to Toronto is not a drop-off. In fact, it may be a little pickup. A little bit, because I'm sure in some ways you may not get exactly that jambalaya and that great Cajun food down in New Orleans up in Toronto, but you can get pretty much every other cuisine around the world, including that jambalaya. It may not be on the same level here in Toronto. So, yeah, I don't get this. Ocho Cinco, man, come on now. And did he add in, oh, you went to Toronto to try and win? Come on. I don't think they're going to win. Yeah. Once again, lazy takes from an NFL player, why you talk about the NBA? That's what I would say. So, you still there, Seymour?
Yeah. I'm still here. I was just doing something real quick. But another thing too, Ocho Cinco's just a straight hater.
Yeah.
That man's a straight hater. Like that's like the fact that he came like that and was talking about the culture. It's a business, you know what I mean? And look at the state of the United States right now. Like, who's really trying to be down there? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's an added benefit for Brandon is like, yeah, I can be in a free society and not a fascist authoritative society that's crashing down on all of us right now. The other thing we have to remember, Seymour, is Chad Ochocinco is University of Miami Hurricanes from his college days, and Scotty Barnes is Florida State, and that's a bitter rivalry, which would bias him against our franchise player right from the start. So, yeah, Hurricanes and Seminoles don't get along in Florida. And
it's funny because he even threw in a little Florida analogy, and they're talking about, you know, people want to be in New Orleans. Why would he leave and this and that? And then when Shannon Sharp called him out, said, who the hell's trying to go to – y'all haven't signed a big new agent ever.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, well, our organization is compared to Miami's, which was a big friggin' laugh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he said, you can't compare. Oh, okay, I got you. So then he said, you can't compare it to Miami because he said, in football terms, look at that dude. I think his name Tyreek Hill. He said, look at him. He doesn't want to be in Miami. He's getting all that money and look at the life and everything. And he doesn't want to be down there.
I think that everybody's an individual, and some people will have different likes and dislikes, and that, you know, in some ways, American xenophobia, just like blanketly saying, no, I don't want to go to Canada. I don't want to be on a Canadian team. That's such an old thought process of like people like Steve Francis or Kenny Anderson, that these guys were losers at the end of their career. And if the cautionary tale is for athletes is to embrace the path that's laid out in front of you and go with your full energy towards that. If you're getting too like controlling about that, you may actually be screwing up your career, because I feel like that's the lesson Steve Franchise got. I think that's the lesson that Kenny Anderson got too, because they both were flat out, no, I won't play for the Raptors. No, I won't play the Grizzlies. And their careers suffered for it in the end, honestly, if you ask me. So, all right, man, let's do the fourth quarter with Seymour Pape.
All right. Who does Scotty Barnes refer to? Which current or past player does Scotty refer to as my guy?
Well, I know he refers to a lot of people as my guy, but I'm thinking that you're talking right now about OG Anunoby. I think that's who you're talking about right now.
Yeah. Yeah, OG. That was pretty funny when he called them OGs. Like,
yeah.
I think OG didn't answer the phone the first time, and Scotty was a little bummed, but OG called him back.
Yeah.
And he was like, my guy.
My guy. Yeah, I love it. And they even said, he said it on the air on his Twitch last Friday night. He said, I love you, OG. Just straight up out in the blue. And OG said, I love you too, Scotty. I love you too. So it's like that kind of stuff is a big deal, because, you know, these are grown men that have, you know, lives and stuff, and like to say I love you to another grown man, some people that's a little taboo. It's a little like, you don't say that to another grown man. No, these guys are open about it, and they have no problem putting that out there like that, and it's nothing weird or anything like that. I mean, come on now. So,
and the rivalry between the two clubs, like, you know, I mean, there's a lot of history between the Raptors and the Knicks, and to have two players saying, you know, they're good friends.
I wonder about Scotty's control over our roster to a degree, because he's come out and said in the last week that he really kind of wishes OG was still on the Raptors. It really hurt him that Chris is on the Celtics now. So it's like, I know that they consult Scott and they keep him in the loop when they're doing big moves in the front office. But in some ways, how much does Scott actually get the input? I don't know. In some ways, if he could have saved OG being on our team, I don't think that was able to happen, just because of the way things were happening. But I'll bet Scott does talk about it all. But Seymour, I appreciate the 4 quarters with Seymour. Do you have an overtime today, or do you want to let regulation run out?
I got an overtime for you. Hold on.
All right.
So this is a two-part.
Okay.
What's your thought on Paul Pierce saying he wants and is demanding for Andrew Wiggins to come home? Apparently, Paul Pierce said he has insight that Wiggins went to the organization, the front office of the Miami Heat, and is asking for a trade to return home to the city of Toronto.
Wow. That's an interesting rumor I had not heard yet until you just told me. I'm wondering, man, of course, former NBA player, his father, Florida State Seminole Mitchell Wiggins, passed in the last couple years. And, Andrew's had a real tough time with that his father's battle with his health. And, Golden State was not totally kind to him in that. And then Steve Kerr didn't want him to play on the Olympics. And there was all kinds of mess. I don't think that he's taken to Miami at all. I think that's weird. In some ways, it's like the Heat culture wanted him, but I don't think he's Heat culture. And that's a red flag in some ways. And in some ways, Norman, Davion Mitchell, they could go there and they instantly fit in their Heat culture. But I'm surprised that Andrew Wiggins has not embraced Heat culture and gotten into the whole thing about it. It may be that he just doesn't like the vibe down there in any way, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does want to come play for Toronto. Now, do we want him to come to Toronto? I don't know. I don't know about that. If he
at the trade deadline that you might see the deal go down. And then I looked at our roster and I was saying, like, who do we have? And then hearing like how the books work with logical Raptors Fernandez, how he was breaking it down. Yeah. I don't think we could bring in Wiggins.
It doesn't make any sense to me, because in some ways I look at the position that Wiggins plays as the same position that Rowan Jr. plays. And in some ways, I'd much rather have the younger RJ on the money he's on than Andrew near the end of his career at this point. And if the deal is for RJ to go to Miami for Andrew Wiggins to get his dream to come here, I don't want that. Because in some ways, RJ's younger. He has way more growth potential. He has more. I think he works way harder and he's more dependable. And in some ways, I wouldn't want to do that. It's similar to the Team Canada stuff. I would not switch Barrett for Wiggins on Team Canada. I would not do that. So I wouldn't do it on the Raptors for sure either. So that great overtime question. Interesting thing going on with Andrew Wiggins I was not aware of. So, all right, Seymour. You got your Calgary Surge in the CEBL playoffs. You got your Scarborough Shooting Stars in the CEBL playoffs. Sir, when it comes down to it, how do you answer this poll that I put forth in front of the Raptor Freaks today on this channel?
I'm stuck in the middle like a blunt, but I'm probably going with Scarborough, man. I got to go with my hometown, man.
This is a great segue for me. And I know that you're busy in the warehouse right now, and I don't want to hold you up just in case you got something to do. But yeah, this is an interesting thing. Scarborough Shooting Stars are a team of momentum. They are on their way. They don't have the best record in the playoff teams right now. They, in some ways, are kind of an underdog, but they have a lot of momentum going right now from the play-in and different games that they've had so far. So they're kind of a team of destiny, a team that has size, a team that has a baller in Quavion Smith, but the size of Donovan Williams, Melvin Foster Jr. and Khalil Miller have been huge for the Scarborough Shooting Stars at the end of the season, and they are growing fast. And, well, that's going to be interesting when they play the current champions, the Niagara River Lions, in their game tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. 6 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Central time. If you want to watch Scarborough versus Niagara, I will be doing a live watch along on Discord. Seymour, I would hope you could come in there and watch the game with me tomorrow night if you're not busy. Discord, yeah. I'll have it on.
You guys gotta send me the link. You have to send me the link for the Discord. Put it in the chat.
Okay.
I gotta go. I'm gonna hit y'all back.
All right, my man. All right, there's the sheriff, Seymour Pape. He's I don't want him to get any trouble or get hurt because he is in the warehouse and he has to have his warehouse safety. So yeah, to the other teams in the playoffs are Niagara, who's the current CEBL champion from last year, and they had a bye to get to this point, and they'll play Scarborough tomorrow. So it'll be really the size of Scarborough versus the experience and the winning pedigree of the Niagara River Lions. And then on the other side, the home team, Winnipeg Sea Bears versus the Calgary Surge. Now, the Calgary Surge have been a team that have kind of been surging up on the west side, like the Scarborough team has been doing on the east. And they feature Raptors 905 backup point guard, who became the starting point guard by the end of the year, Evan Gilliard II. And Evan Gilliard II has been a phenomenal clutch player for the Calgary Surge. In fact, in the last game, in the last round, he had to hit 3 clutch free throws at the end of the Elam ending to hit this target score to beat Vancouver Bandits. The Vancouver Bandits were the best team in the league with the record. So Calgary Surge passed them and got in the spot there to play the host team, the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Also, Calgary features Jameer Nelson Jr., the son of former Orlando Magic player Jameer Nelson. So there's this kind of the breakdown on those teams. I would like to see and check in on you guys and the results of the poll so far. We got 71% are saying Scarborough Shooting Stars are who you guys think will win it all in the CBL playoffs this weekend. We've got a tie for Calgary and Winnipeg. And the second vote is nobody's voting for the defending champ, Niagara River Lions. Very, very interesting. All right, let me get into the comments, guys. We're talking CBL playoffs. We're talking about Raptors general stuff and general manager stuff, and also any other basketball topics as far as WNBA, Team Canada basketball, and Global Jam. If you have anything NBA or FIBA or anything like that you want to talk, let's do it. Okay, once again, I've put this poll over Trevor's words of wisdom, and I apologize, Trevor. I say you have the power, you have the power, you have the power, you have the power to change. You have it. The power to change for the better or the worse. There you go. You know, in some ways, perception is reality, and they're trying to shape your perception with social media algorithms and putting things in front of your face to make you feel sad, make you feel marginalized, make you feel like the world sucks. This is all, in some ways, brain fuck. And in some ways, you guys got to understand that Zuckerberg and Meta, they're not your friend. In some ways, they're trying to condition your brain in different ways, and it's fucked up. So I say, if you can, get away from doom scrolling. Get away from that kind of stuff, because they're trying to shape you and your emotions. And don't fall for it as much as you can. Get back outside. The original social media is nature, and it's the animals and the plants and the insects and the birds. That is what you need to tune in with, because that's the natural world. That's the real world. And once you get back to feeling organic, like you're a life form, like those other life forms, you can get past all the fake bullshit, made up shit that they're putting out there to try and mess with you. And there's a lot of bullshit that they're trying to do right now. They're trying to make you feel afraid. They're trying to make you feel like, there's no point. We're all doomed. But that's absolutely not true. In this new age that's coming very soon, the dreamers, the thinkers, the do-gooders, they were going to win in the end, because evil cannot sustain itself through hate. And in some ways, love will conquer all in the end. It may be difficult. It may be ugly. It may be fucked up, but it will happen that way. Progress and change will happen no matter what. And we will drag these racists, these bigots, these old world thinkers ahead with us into the new world. And they will suffer for their old standing on their own ways. Trust me. They will suffer for it. Yeah, there you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Thank you, Trevor J., for your words of wisdom. And I appreciate you. I see you got your full name down there right now, Trevor J. He's saying West Coast games on NBC will start at 11 o'clock p.m. Yeah, I mean, listen, remember this, NBC. Everybody who heard that theme song is not as young as they were back when you started your show. And in some ways, the idea of having 11 p.m. Eastern start times on NBC is a little daunting to people in my age bracket, the original NBA on NBC audience. Sure, the youngsters may be able to get in there and watch the NBA games till 1 a.m. on a Tuesday night before a Wednesday morning at work, but not some of us. And in some ways, you know what? You're going to drop off. Maybe you'll play a lot of Lakers games at 11. And, well, that's a great time for me to go to sleep anyway. So, yeah, that's interesting they're doing that. I like it, kind of. In some ways, you know what they need to do? They need to let NBC have Sundays. Just Sundays like they used to. Noon game, afternoon game, and boom, goes the dynamite. That's where the nostalgic feel is. Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter were talking about this, that they used to get excited as kids in the 90s, waking up and they'd be playing basketball in the morning, but they'd come inside in the middle of the day just because they knew that music was coming on. Old heads like me know the feeling on a Sunday afternoon when that music comes on. You're about to watch NBA on NBC. You're going to see Michael Jordan. You're going to see Reggie Miller. You're going to see Charles Barkley. You're going to see Vince Carter. You know, that feeling is awesome. And Tracy knows that feeling. So why can't they get the time slot that's nostalgic like that? You know, if they're going to have a double header for NBC, it should be oriented around noon at Sunday. And it should go from that into the afternoon game. And that's what y'all should be doing, seriously, because that was the ratings gold. And in some ways, NBC, you'd be smart to get ratings at noon on a Sunday, because you could get lots of good Nielsen ratings at that time with NBA on NBC. Seriously. I mean, why would you waste prime time on Peacock or NBC on the NBA on like that? You should have TV shows going on like Law and Order number 26 of Law and Order garbage disposal waste police or something like that, you know? Why don't you have like those kind of shows on, like dramas and situation comedies, instead of putting the NBA on primetime like that? ABC's tried to put the NBA on primetime, and it's not done well in doing that in some ways, you know. Fiercey's here. Good morning to Fiercey Salsera. Good morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor J. I will not stay awake for games starting at 11 p.m. That is crazy. Yeah, it just depends. I mean, we do this for our team. When our team goes on the West Coast, I'm flipping to that West Coast time because I know I'm going to have to be up till possibly 3 a.m. because I wait for the interviews after the game and the highlights, and I have to do a lot of post-game work for getting ready for this channel. So the game is going to start in Portland around 10:30, and the game's going to be done around 12:30. I may be up till about 2. Yeah, 2 a.m. Eastern time. And I'm ready for that when the Raptors go out west. I kind of flip to their schedule and follow them when they go around the country. And I'm okay with being up late when the Raptors swing out there, but I'm not going to do it for just any old LeBron James and Luka Lake show of L's. No, I'm not going to do it for that. Why would I stay up just to watch this corny ass shit? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's keep going. Fiercey saying LA Sparks versus Dallas Wings was very competitive and tight yesterday, and Page had a personal record 44 points. Yeah, I saw that. The rookie for Dallas, Page Bookers, getting a 44 bag yesterday. Holy crap, man. What a great score for somebody in their WNBA. I think it's Kareem who has her. I'm not totally sure. But yeah, let's check in on our fantasy league after the second day of playoff action. Cool Cat got a little bit more ahead of me on this one. She had 2 players playing yesterday, so now she has a 14-point lead over me after day 2. Kaz has got a nice 100-point lead over JP in his matchup in the playoffs. MK has got a 90-point lead over Fiercey right now, so Fiercey's got some work cut out, or she's going to be out in the first round. Logical Raptors Fanatic is losing to Kareem, 204 to 113, and the consolation bracket, Edmund is beating James. Come on, man. Come on, James. But yeah, there was one game yesterday, and it really did feature Paige. And Paige really did some major stuff there. So get your lineup set, guys. Yeah, there's games today. There's 4 games. Our referees for the WNBA matchups today: Washington Mystics at Connecticut Sun. Michael Price is the crew chief with Catherine Chang and Gerda Gatling. The Chicago Sky are at New York Liberty. Fatu Sissoko Stevens will crew chief with Agana Bazi and Jeffrey Smith. Minnesota Lynx at Atlanta Dream. Ashley Gloss is in charge with Angel Kett and Kelly Broomfield. And Phoenix Mercury at Las Vegas Aces. Amy Bonner, the crew chief, with Gina Cross and Jason Alabanza. Yeah, there's your WNBA ref report, along with a check-in on the Raptor Freak WNBA Fantasy League. And yeah, we're in the playoffs in the first week. It's tough, baby. It's tough. Randolph Phillips is in the house. Beloved Raptor Freaks family, blessings, new day, new opportunity. What you give has never been given before, no matter how similar it may appear. Every day comes with its own challenges. And thumbs up. Thank you, Randolph. I appreciate your encouragement, your words of wisdom. I feel like, man, in some ways you're a bit like the wind beneath my wings, man, because in some ways, you know, the world is scary and crazy, but in some ways we got to soldier on. We got to do what we got to do that's right in a world of darkness and place where wrong is turned into right. And that, you know, we need to remember and anchor ourselves to some of the things from the past that delineate right from wrong, because some people are trying to make a new world order that is absolutely criminal right now. And in some ways, we have to keep tethered to the principles of humans that are actually good and bad and evil and wrong, that are against evil and wrong. And so we need good and justice to prevail in the end against the really criminal shit that's going on with the government in the United States right now. Very, very criminal. Very, very criminal. Trying to rig elections, stealing money, trying to change history. There's all kinds of really fucked up shit that's going on down there. And in some ways, we got to keep tabs on how it used to be to a degree, so that we can, in some ways, when we need to manufacture the new world order that we want, not the one that MAGA is trying to build for us right now, that we're going to need to tether and meld new stuff with some of the old stuff that still worked, that we need to get back to. And I appreciate Randolph Phillips with his words of wisdom. Blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. That's right. Seymour saying, oh, man, the poll is tough. I'm trapped. Yeah, that's tough for you, man. You've got two prominent teams that you really like. Okay, it's changing around. Scarborough's now got 60% of the vote. Calgary's got 20, and Niagara's got 10, and Winnipeg's got 10. If I do the math, that's probably one vote for each. 6 votes for Scarborough, 2 votes for Calgary, 1 for Niagara, 1 for Winnipeg. Very, very interesting stuff. I love it, guys. I love it. Keep putting votes in as you come in. If you're joining us, we're talking about CEBL, Canadian Elite Basketball League, and they're having their playoff weekend this weekend in Winnipeg, and they're going to be starting the games tomorrow night. All right, we got our next call on the air, guys. Y'all, this is our next caller. You're on the Thursday Think Tank Raptor Freak Show. How are you today?
I'm doing great, thank you, and you?
It's Fiercey, y'all. It's MJ, our current Raptor Freak trivia leader. How are you today? You're doing great?
I'm doing great, fam. How's everyone?
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So
I'm taking the opportunity. I'm working today, so I came with my car to work. So she's headed to Montreal. I took her to the bus station.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to watch Le Gans parade in Montreal North.
Oh, cool.
So I'm excited for her. She's so excited. I told her, don't be shy. Ask to take a picture with him.
Very, very cool. So that, you mean Lugette's Dort is having a parade in North Montreal with the Larry O'Brien is where she's going, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. Very, very cool. That's amazing. A great memory for Fiercey Salcera Jr., whose budding basketball career is budding and budding and budding. So,
oh yeah, she has tryouts next week. So send positive vibes.
For sure. For sure. What are the tryouts for? For a new team that she wants to be on?
Yes, she wants to play with Ottawa Next Level. They're hiring their competitive acumen is much better than where she used to play before. So
okay,
it's upper level. It's Division 1.
Yeah,
and she was used to playing Division 3. So we'll give it a try.
Awesome.
I mean, she has a tough. It's gonna be tough, but she needs to try. So
that's right.
I'm rooting for her.
That's right. Well, we're all rooting for her, and we'll definitely send that winning, positive energy towards her to hopefully get her on that team. That'd be awesome. So, Fiercey, this year you went to some CEBL games this year, didn't you?
I did, and that's why I'm really excited that I think it's the 5th season they have CEBL.
I think that's right.
If I'm not mistaken. And it was not put on blast like that, the championship. Mm-hmm. So it's a very good thing that they're putting more energy and giving more exposure to CEBL. Mm-hmm. Because at times, some of the games were like a bit amateurish the previous years, but this year, from what I've been watching, they were much higher caliber. Yeah. And it was very, very interesting to watch. And I have a friend, I got season tickets. Well, not season tickets. I got complimentary tickets because when I go, I have a tendency of bringing my family, and so it's fun that they're giving incentives to customers, to fans, so that we can bring along more people. Yeah. And it's a really cool atmosphere. And in Ottawa, though, I never went to the other games, but in Ottawa, it's really fun. The location is nice. Yeah. It's a TV place. There are restaurants there. So it's really, and it's a fun. The in-game entertainment is also good. They have singers, they have dancers, they have like musicians at times. So it's really good. So I'm really rooting for them to grow more and that's because they may have maybe a bit more teams. Well, they have enough teams, but that they may have a bit like a team or two more additional teams.
Yeah, the expansion will probably come at some point, but I'm sure that the growth that they want to see is in attendance and numbers of watching and people like that for sure. Yeah. Did you? I'm not sure. Did you? Go ahead.
They had a team in Newfoundland, if I remember.
Yeah, they did.
2 years ago. Yeah, and it's not there anymore.
No, I think that the logistics of flying there is expensive, and in some ways, if the economics of the league are still trying to take off, I think that the logistics have made it too much money cost, because it is very difficult to get to Newfoundland travel wise. But I bet you if the league gets more healthy and it's getting like even more growing and profitable, they may reintroduce a team from that region. I could see that happening, because they do want to capture all areas of Canada, I'm sure, that are, got population. So I'm wondering, Fiercey, did you ever go to Montreal? Did you ever go to Montreal to watch the Alliance at their home court?
No, never, because it's during the week, it's weekdays, and I'm obviously I'm not available to travel there during the week. So
gotcha.
But it's also in Verdun Stadium, which is a bit far, like not right, it's a bit far.
Yeah.
So so that's why I don't think the attendance it's always like there's not enough. It's not as many attendees as the Ottawa game from what I watch on TV.
Sure.
But when they
you're more
the game at CEBL.
You're more a Blackjacks fan, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Ottawa stand up.
You and Isaac. That's right. You and Isaac, big Ottawa fans. Yeah. Cool.
That's why I got salty. I didn't choose Scarborough Shooting Stars on your poll. I chose Calgary.
Because you're still salty. I love it. I love it. She's still mad because they beat Ottawa. That's so funny.
The other reason is that Calgary has the best record out of the teams remaining. Calgary has the best record.
They do. You're right.
They're really strong. So that's why I'm thinking Calgary it could be between Calgary and Scarborough. That would be interesting.
I think that might be the final. I'm not totally sure about the River Lions. That may be the one that's more. I think that Calgary will beat Winnipeg. I think they will win that one as far as I think. And I think Scarborough versus Niagara could be a toss-up. Now, I saw Scarborough play Niagara live in the Pan Am Center earlier this season. It was the first CEBL game I went to. And Scarborough absolutely handled Niagara River Lions, like with their size and rebounding. And they kind of ran them off the court to a degree. So, yeah. So I seen them beat them just in like about a month ago. And it didn't seem like it was that close. The other thing is interesting. Niagara River Lions have Antonio Davis Jr. on their team, which is an interesting little fun fact for Raptors fans, that Antonio Davis Jr., the son of our all-star Raptor from way back. And this is funny too, because he was the kid that was the Davis parents, Antonio's wife said they didn't want them learning the metric system. And they didn't want them learning in Canadian schools. Well, your son's playing for the Canadian Elite Basketball League after all, Antonio Davis, is what I have to say. Well, Fiercely, let's wrap up the call today. It's been a joy to play WNBA Fantasy with you this year. And I wish you luck. I know this is tough. You've got a tough hill to climb in the matchup you're in right now, and you're doing your best. But I know you've had fun playing this year, for sure.
I did. And next year I'll be back, and I know the players more, so I'll know who to pick on my team next year. But I was happy. What killed me is that I had Taylor Thornton from the Valkyries, and she was killing it. And now that she's gone, they put other players like to replace her, and they're really good, the Valkyries. So that's why Kaz is like really, really like strong.
That's a lesson for next year. Because we got 2 expansion teams coming in next year, and that'll mean 2 opportunities for Tempo and Portland players that may be off the radar right now, but because they get more of a chance to show who they are on an expansion team, they'll be great for fantasy. And that's it right there.
Exactly.
I've seen your journey as a fantasy player, Fiercey, and you've been getting better and better. And, of course, in the NBA fantasy, you're getting better too. All right, Fiercey, all the best, and all the best to Fiercey Jr.
Have a nice
on her tryouts for her team this week coming up. That's awesome. So
Thank
awesome.
you very much.
The future is bright at basketball.
Bye.
Let's go,
Yes.
Raptors.
Let's
Let's
go.
go. I love it. I love it. I love hearing from MJ. She's awesome. Yeah. So this is cool. Fiercey Salcero Jr. is the future in basketball, a young lady who's coming up in the basketball world, trying to get to the next level and practicing up. This is what we want to hear, the growth of basketball and interest. And that's right. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. I love it, man. I love it. That's right. Let's see. Fiercey is saying, I want to watch that skit. Yeah, I want to watch that skit too, that Seymour was talking about earlier about the Just for Laughs. Seymour, if you could post it in the Facebook, that would be awesome. I'll find it and I'll watch it then. Yeah, let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat. James is here. Good to see Raptor Freak James. Good morning to you, sir. Is Sarr going to make the official team? Olivier Sarr, the older brother of Alex Sarr, is currently in the Raptors roster as an Exhibit 10 signee. It's similar to David Roddy, who's an Exhibit 10 signee. These are non-guaranteed contracts to come to training camp and to be one of the 20 or so players, 21, I think they get at this point, where they're in training camp, they're working with the Raptors, and they're trying to make the team. You know, we've had a lot of different players come through in these positions in the last couple of years. And sometimes the Exhibit 10 has the hardest time making the team. Now, a successful guy who got an Exhibit 10 and made the team in the past, Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher was in the same situation years ago with the Raptors, where he was not on a guarantee, but he shined so much that he got guaranteed and made an Exhibit 10 into his path. Now, I don't see this with either one of those two guys I named just now, Roddy and Sarr. I think that what's going to happen is they're going to be really good for a preseason. They're going to be really good for being in training camp and pushing our guys. But the thing I worry about with Olivier Sarr is that he is too slow up and down the court, and that his range of shooting is rarely within 5 feet of the basket. The man can't shoot very much farther out than that. So that's a real limitation, and in some ways it's not realistic for playing in the NBA. So I think that the best case scenario for Olivier Sarr is that he, hopefully has a good play preseason and does well in training camp, and he signs on with the 905, and he becomes maybe their starting center this year. So who knows? Shamshay maybe should start, and maybe Sarr's his backup. But I think that that's probably where he's going to be at. I think Roddy will also be on 905 this year also. That both of those Exhibit 10s are likely to be featured in Mississauga is what I'm thinking right now. Cool Cat saying, good morning, Rap Freak crew. Good, cool weather is here again. I love it. And maybe it's a little too soon. I saw something on the internet yesterday. Speaking of doom scrolling and worrying stuff, that's so pessimistic and negative. It said this is the after yesterday, the sun will set before 8 o'clock every night from now on until next year. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I get it. It's a dark winter. It's sunshine goes less and less light in the day. You know, there's a ploy. I want to make everybody aware of this. There's a ploy made by Russian propagandists to wage mental warfare on people in northern climates like Finland, like Norway, like the Baltics and Ukraine. And to say, oh, the winter is so bad and stuff like that. So be careful of forces out there trying to mold the world to be awful and terrible. There really are a lot of mind games going on. The Russians are not doing well in conventional warfare. They're losing the Ukrainian war in the battle. But in some ways, their propaganda war is winning like crazy, because you can see a summit like the one he had with idiot Trump last week. And just how much control he has over the United States right now is sickening. Vladimir Putin right now. The rhetoric from the U.S. government about the war, the Russian illegal invasion of Ukraine by Russia, and the blaming of Joe Biden is all hot air and bullshit. Vladimir Putin's completely to blame for the conflict in Ukraine, and he should retract his troops from that region that he's unjustly inside right now. And it's condescending and wrong when Donald Trump supports Vladimir Putin and says that it's Biden's fault that the war started. That's absolute horseshit. Vladimir Putin started that damn war himself, and he's solely to blame. And the way Trump talks tells you exactly who his master is. Vlad is. He rolled a red carpet out for a dictator who is against human rights. And he what did he give to Zelensky when he came? Exactly. So it shows you just how much of a puppet And Trump has Vladimir's hand up his ass, is basically what I'm saying here. All right, a little aside there on politics real quick, just to check base with the dumpster fire that the United States is right now. Yeah, let's keep going. Smooth saying there's so much banter online about how expensive the team is with such limited upside. What makes these people think the roster is so limited? What are they basing their evaluations on? They're basing them on a prejudice. And, it's really, once again, I can say this. The NBA allows you a portal into seeing real world mechanisms of racism, prejudice, and discrimination. Of course, it's not exactly the same as, being racist against immigrants or just being a discriminatory person and hiring people for jobs. In some ways, those mechanisms and the way that those mind patterns go, you can see it in the NBA out in front without a veil in front of it. And in some ways, it's just a disregard. It's just a disregard. In some ways, it's like we're a lesser than in the league as far as the way that they want to portray us. So, anybody who's being portrayed that way in life as an individual, they're not going to get their just due. In some ways, they're going to have doubters. They're going to have people that say all the negative shit about you. And that's a lot of what this is. And part of it is an echo chamber, and it kind of reinforces itself. So it's like the belief that the Raptors could be a good team this year is just so foreign to some people because they've really trained their brains to think the Raptors are not a good team, that they're really bad. And they look at our record and they see the last couple of years and they say, oh, yeah, they haven't made the playoffs for 3 years, so they must be really bad. They're not really investigating it very well, and they're not looking at it. It's a very shallow assessment. And once again, the sad thing is these are the people that have the biggest platforms to talk about the NBA, and in some ways they're totally misleading. And that's the thing. Listen, once again, I'll say every time somebody talks like this, Reggie, I say the reality of the NBA happens in the 48 minutes when the clock is on and it's between those lines. And everything that a talking head says, including myself, don't mean jack shit when the reality of the game gets played out and the teams compete and the outcome comes. So they can say whatever the fuck they want. And they can doubt us. They can think, oh, there's no upside on this team. They're wrong, obviously, because how the fuck are they going to say all these other young cores in the NBA have so much upside and they're going to say the same? They're not going to say the same damn thing about the Raptors, because this is the other thing that we have on our side is, once again, we don't let people in the door up here in Toronto unless they're high quality winners that are ready and they're good people that they're going to try their ass off. So there's a much higher percentage for success for the Raptors to hit on their young core than some of these other young cores that they're touting more than us. Because in some ways we did the CEIA overkill looking over these guys and absolutely made sure Colin Murray-Boyles was the absolute right pick at number 9 this year. That Jamal Shed was the right pick. A lot of it's just bluster and messed up. All right, we got our third call of the day coming in today from Toronto Western Hospital. Hello, caller. You're on the air on the Raptor Freak Thursday Think Tank call-in show. Hello, it's Adriana, guys.
Hi, everybody.
So, Adriana, do you have strong opinions about the CBL playoffs? You went to a CBL play-in game the other day. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, and Scarborough's going to win.
Scarborough, huh?
For everybody else.
Okay, this is a Scarborough girl, grew up in Scarborough, lives in Scarborough currently, and she's going with her Scarborough team, the Shooting Stars. She's in the ends with Enzo.
You gotta respect Scarborough.
Respect Scarborough? That's what you're saying right now? Respect Scarborough is what she's saying. Oh, the poll's been going down, though, Adrian. It looks like 54% are picking the Scarborough Shooting Stars currently. It is leading the poll, but in some ways we are kind of favoring it as a Toronto Raptors channel, and Scarborough is part of Toronto. So, Adriana, why do you think Scarborough is going to win it all in the CBL Championship this weekend?
I actually saw them play a game. It was very, very interesting.
Yeah. So, you had fun at the play-in game? The atmosphere was fun?
Absolutely. And I always root for Scarborough.
You always root for Scarborough. So you're just blatantly saying Scarborough's going to beat Niagara, and they'll beat whoever comes from the other side in the finals on Sunday.
That is correct.
Okay. And you're doing well. Of course, we know Adriana's at the hospital right now, getting watched over for certain tests with electrodes to her head right now. And, you're feeling okay?
Well, I feel a little bit dizzy and I've had some rough seizures so far, but that's my life. So hopefully I'll get out of this. Hopefully I'll get out of this faster.
Well, that's the thing. This is one of those weird situations where we don't want Adriana to have epileptic seizures normally, but right now we do, because apparently if she has more seizures sooner, they'll get the test results done and she can get out of the hospital sooner and get the electrodes off her head. So we're actually kind of rooting for her to have seizures right now. And apparently she's had quite a few in the last 24 hours. So that's good. That's good for hopefully getting you out of there sooner. So, Adriana, anything else you want to say real quick about Scarborough Shooting Stars or the CBL or anything in general?
Just go Scarborough.
Go Scarborough and go Adriana. Thank you for what you're doing, and I just want you to be safe. And you know what? I trust the healthcare professionals are watching over you and making sure you're okay, even though this sounds so crazy what you're doing right now. So.
Yes, well, all the professionals here have been fantastic. So.
And you know what? We should need to support our public healthcare system here in Canada because it's a great thing. And it's something that makes Canada great, much greater than the United States, honestly. Okay, Adrienne, I'm going to let you go today on the air for the show right now. And I wish you all the best. And I care about you a lot. And I hope that things are a fantastic rest of the day for you. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Go Scarborough. All right, Adriana calling in from the hospital to say hi and put in her 2 cents about the Scarborough Shooting Stars. That's right. She's a Scarborough girl. She's going to be a homer for her team. That's right. She's going to be a homer for her team. Smooth saying more on his comments here. The BI stuff, I understand to a point with his injury history, but given what the Raptors traded for him, it's a worthwhile risk. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once again, every single thing in this world can be perceived as good or bad. You know, some people will see a snake in the ground and they'll be like, oh, no, a snake. I hate it. Get rid of it. It's bad. No, I see a snake and it's good because it's going to eat rodents. It's going to eat pests. And, it's all how you want to shape your mind. You can look at anything and look at a bad side or a good side of it. And, well, some people are just training their brain to look at the bad side on everything Raptors. And that's part of that bias I'm talking about. And then the reverse, they'll look at everything positive that the Lakers do. Oh, the Lakers are so good. They got DeAndre Ayton. It sounds so stupid what I just said, right? So it's like, that's part of it right there. And that's why in some ways the dumpster fire that the Lakers are year in and year out is absolutely hilarious because they talk them up so bad and they are obviously a failure over and over again. And in some ways, they talk us down as failures. But then when we come up and rise up like we did in the 2010s, they're begrudging about giving us respect for our success. It's just a part of it. In some ways, we don't care about that. We just want the results. We want the wins, and that's all that matters. W's are what matters with the Raptors. That's right. That's right. He's also saying Toronto has never been a free agent destination. They have to create opportunities. The BI trade has a chance to be a huge for them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're going to poo-poo it because they couldn't control it from not happening. And Brandon was a willing participant. The Raptors wanted to do it. Masai had a Hail Mary. Yeah, and that, you know what? You guys may call it a Hail Mary play, other executives, Monty McNair. But you know what? That pass got caught in the end zone, and it's a touchdown. So, yeah, you go ahead and call it a Hail Mary by Masai Ujiri. Hail Mary it doesn't mean it's unsuccessful. That pass was caught. And it's hopefully going to get caught in the end zone, and the Raptors going to get score on it. So that's the way it looks like that. Yeah, James is saying, would you do RJ for Wiggins trade? No, hell no. No, that's a downgrade. You're losing years. I think RJ's a better player than Andrew Wiggins, and he has been for a couple years now. I think he's been a better player than Andrew Wiggins for at least 2 years, if not 3, maybe. Seriously, some people say, what? You think that? Yeah. And Andrew's been in this league way longer than RJ. He's way closer to the end of his career. And RJ has more growth to go up. And I think that RJ's way better than Andrew right now. And part of it is that Andrew's been too distracted. Part of it is Andrew kind of lost the story as far as what he's supposed to be doing. I would say this about Andrew Wiggins. I've been disappointed in his career overall, guys. Seriously. I've been disappointed in his career. I don't think he has DeRozan code exactly right. I feel like in some ways, sure, you languished in Minnesota for a long time, but you didn't take that opportunity of being in that kind of market to really make yourself huge and just be a steady, consistent guy. I've never looked at Andrew Wiggins as a very consistent player in any way that you could count on. And once again, we talked about winning players yesterday. Andrew Wiggins, has he won? Has he won anything, or has he done anything in his career? No, he hasn't. So in some ways, as much as he's Canadian, I love him. The Maple Jordan, I love the guy in some ways, but in some ways also, I don't want him on my team because I feel like he's a waste of time. I feel like in some ways he is not going to be adding anything at this point in his age to the Raptors to help them. In fact, it wouldn't make no fucking sense to me because RJ is more in the age bracket with our cohort, and everybody says, oh, it doesn't make sense on the timeline. Well, Andrew Wiggins would not make sense on the timeline with Scotty Barnes in any kind of way. So there's like a multitude of reasons why I wouldn't do that deal. First of all, RJ is better than Andrew. That's the first one right there. Smooth saying BI's upside is the greatest since Vince Carter, in my opinion. That's an interesting take. I mean, it's different, though, because Vince was younger with us. And in some ways, I don't know if Vince completely grew into the upside that Brandon has right now. Seriously, as an individual player. See, once again, Vince was very sizzle. And in some ways, the stake of him winning games, sure, he had some epic game-winning shots sometimes. But overall, he wasn't a winning player. Once again, we're getting back to this whole idea, who's a winning player and who isn't. And Vince Carter, as much as he's the greatest dunker in the NBA's history, he's not a winning player, guys. And his history shows in his NBA career. Did he ever win? He was in the NBA longer than anybody else, and he never, ever fucking won. That's a red flag right there. And also the fact that the second half of his career was kind of like not as highly leveled as his early because of injuries. There's a lot to this. I think Brandon has way more skill than Vince does for winning in certain ways. I think that if you're looking at the difference between Kawhi Leonard and Vince Carter, Kawhi Leonard's a winning player, and Vince Carter isn't. And Vince Carter could be amazing with dunks and stuff, but he didn't win. He missed the shot, and that really defines him in a lot of ways. If he had made that shot against Allen Iverson and the Sixers, I would talk about him totally differently, but he didn't, and he left that open because he decided to go and graduate. So I think that Brandon is more in the ilk of Kawhi Leonard, as far as somebody who will take over a game, hit a clutch shot, and be very powerful that way. So in some ways, you're comparing him to Vince. I'm comparing him to Kawhi. I'm comparing Ingram to Kawhi. Yeah. Reggie's saying the way he moves on the floor is so fluid and natural. Yeah, and that's Kawhi too. That's Kawhi right there. I mean, we want a weapon on our court that no matter how high pressurized the end of the game is, how crazy it is, that he's just calm, cool, collected, and they can't do a damn thing to stop him. Because in some ways, that's the secret of Kevin Durant that made him so dangerous is his long ass arms and body and his ability to shoot. And nobody can even try and stop him. And Brandon's like that. He's like that. So that's what we want to see right there. James is saying Barnes can learn how to dominate offensively playing with Ingram. He's not really going to play like Ingram, though, but it could help him. Definitely the distraction and the responsibility to have to guard Brandon for the other team's going to draw people away, and Scotty may get more open opportunities. And that was what somebody was saying yesterday, that, Brandon just having him around will help the rest of the team because he's somebody that everybody kind of has to keep respect on for the defense on the other side. And Scotty will get more scoring opportunities that way. I think that Scotty's game is very different than Brandon's offensively. And in some ways, if Scotty really wants to learn from somebody, he needs to keep watching Kawhi. He needs to keep watching Kawhi because like Kawhi's post up and his mid-range is stuff that Scotty started doing more last year. And that is definitely a direction he needs to keep going in. That's definitely a direction he's going in. Mo's saying, good morning, Rap Freak crew. Go Evan, go Calgary. Looks like Monique is throwing her hat in with the Surge, and she likes the Calgary Surge. Good morning, super fan. I love you. I hope you're having a fantastic Thursday morning, and I hope you filled out my poll here. Let's check in with the poll now. 53% of you guys are saying Scarborough, 20% Calgary, 20% Winnipeg, and only 7% for the Niagara River Lions, the current CBL champions. Yeah, go Evan. So she's siding with Gilliard. That's right. That's the guy, Gilliard. That's right. Respect the super fan from Seymour Pape. Thank you for calling in earlier, sir. Thank you to all the callers so far. And if you want to call, the phone line is available to members of the channel, Facebook group, and Discord server. The number is there if you want to call in, guys. Wayne Strainer's here. Sergeant at Arms, Wayne Strainer. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Instagram, Meta, Facebook, TikTok, all are like junk food. Consume at your own peril. Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally with you on this, man. It's so crazy. TikTok has really made attention spans so short right now. It's really tough. Teachers are talking about how kids are really hard to teach at this point because they just can't focus. Well, that's the whole thing about quick scrolling and seeing just little 30-second clips. Next one, next one, next one. And like that dopamine rush of getting really quick bursts of stuff like that. It's a real problem. This kind of started when I was a little kid with Sesame Street and then MTV. Sesame Street was great for teaching, but it had really quick little short spots. And that came more and more of a format. TV shows used to be a lot more like long form and not such quick little segments. And then MTV came along with the music videos, and there was more kind of speeding up. And now we're at this point where for a 2-minute or 3-minute clip has turned into a 20-second or 30-second clip as far as the attention span and how quickly, ADHD, all this stuff is happening, partly because of the conditioning of these kind of apps. For sure, Wayne Strainer. Good stuff here. Wayne, I'm going to give you a dunk for your cautionary tale about this stuff. I'm weaning myself more and more off social media. I find myself sometimes doom scrolling just by habit, not even realizing. I'm like, wait, Lex, why are you on here scrolling like this? Don't do it. Get off there. Take control of your brain again and say no. And I'm saying, man, I'm not about to just leave Meta. Seriously. Neil Young has left Meta, and that's a good sign. That's something that was like, okay, this is a sinking ship. Get the hell out of Zuckerberg's hellscape while you can, is what I'm seeing. Yeah. Let's keep going. Big up, Neil. Good to see Blackhawk in the chat this morning. Thank you for supporting this channel. Seymour saying is it unfair to expect Brandon to have a Kawhi-like results, or is that too high of an aim? This is something I want to do. Maybe I shouldn't be selling Brandon so high, because in some ways I don't want to get expectations for him too high and Raptors Nation starts overreacting if he's not exactly to a certain level. I would say this to all Raptors fans. Let's just wait and see what happens. There's a range of outcomes that can happen with Brandon Ingram, and some of them could be very disappointing, and some of them could be exhilaratingly awesome. So we're just going to have to see, guys. I think that in some ways the range is very much, is this going to be Otto Porter Jr. or is this going to be Kawhi Leonard? And if it's more closer to Otto Porter Jr., that's going to be a huge problem. That could mean that some people may be having to leave, Brandon specifically. And, hopefully not anybody who's in a position that can get fired. Now, hopefully he's closer to Kawhi than Otto as far as what he's going to bring the Raptors and this move coming here. I think it's more likely he's going to be more towards Kawhi than Otto, because it's not going to help him to be injured continuing on the Raptors, because then that label is just sticking on him. Is like, well, the guy just never got right and back. And that's not good. If it's not going to happen here with Dr. Alex, it's not going to happen anywhere, because our medical staff is the top in the league. And if anybody's going to be able to keep Brandon's ankle healthy, it's the Toronto Raptors. So I think that, look, this is what we need to do. Temper your expectations for the beginning of the season. We want to see him first just take to the court healthy. Second, we want to see how he's melding with other people. Third, if he is able to start doing dominant offensive stuff, yeah, that's great. And then fourth, if he is able to be clutch and win games on his own for our team, that will be the next one. So this is baby steps. We want to look at each one. And Raptors fans, let him progress and do what he's going to do without any expectations. And don't come down on crazy ways on the players in different ways for what they're doing out there. You are not their boss. You are not the guy who analyzes whether they're doing a good job. No, you're not. You are not that. That is Bobby Webster. That's Darko. That's Keith Pelly. And in some ways, you need to just be the fan and be loving and unconditionally supportive of your team. That's what a fan does. You don't tear down your players when they have failure. That is not the right way to be as a parent. That is not the right way to be as a fan. And in some ways, you need to be allowing for different ranges of success and just root for your team blindly. Everybody who roots for their team with stipulations, you're a fucker. Seriously, I'll only root for the Raptors if they're winning. You're a douchebag. You're not a real one. You're not riding with us 365 days a year on the Raptor Freak channel. If you're a conditional fan, they're not doing well, I don't watch them, guys.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to watch them, but don't downgrade them or talk shit about them and put them down while they're down. Seriously, if you want to be a real fan, you stick with them through thick and thin. And in some ways, when they do get back to that Larry O'Brien behind me, right up there, and get their second one, it'll be all the sweeter because you didn't sell them out when they're on their lows, like the pandemic and Tampa season and other times. You didn't sell them out. You didn't kick them while they were down like a lot of people were doing in Raptors Nation. If you're a good fan, you didn't do that. You were supportive and you loved your team no matter what. That's what being a sports fan is. You can go ask Cleveland Browns fans. They've been tortured for years. Why the hell are you still a fan? Because I love my team, and I love my team no matter what. And that's the thing that's lacking in a lot of Raptors Nation people is they don't have that mindset about the Raptors. And it's sad. It's sad. There's different reasons for that right there. It's different reasons. Yeah, Kaloy's saying the heroine named Adriana. That's right. Let's tell her legend. Let's tell her story, the great story of Adriana and her heroic decisions in her life. Honestly, let's go Scarborough. That's right. Seymour's going for Scarborough. That's right. Smooth saying, man, I really feel sad and proud for her, Lex. She truly is a hero. Yeah, I mean, even on the phone just now, you could hear she's a little disoriented because in some ways, she's not getting the medication she's used to. Her body's used to regulating to help her with her epilepsy. And that's on purpose because they want to study her having seizures right now. And in some ways, that's just crazy to me. In some ways, it's good that she's in a hospital because if there is anything serious about the seizure, well, they can immediately help her right there. So, but still, I don't like this guinea pig stuff. I really don't. But it's her life. It's her choice. And this is what she wanted to do. That's right. Yeah. Smooth saying, man, yeah, he said that already said that. Monique saying, way to go, Serge. And hello, welcome. Solid interview. I'm glad Monique brought this up. Thank you, my producer, Monique Lawrence, for holding the cue card on the hello and welcome interview with Alex Wong and Serge Ibaka. Yeah, I'm glad William wasn't involved in some ways, seriously, because when it's just Alex Wong, it's very casual. It's very casual. In fact, at one point, Alex Wong said, it's testicle art, Serge. It's testicle art. Oh, my gosh. They're talking about the origins of How Hungry Are You? And how Serge one day just got an idea with his friend Jordy that he is his handler. He's around him all the time. And he said, I want to do something on YouTube because everybody's doing stuff on YouTube like the Raptors Freak. And I called up Bismack, and he got Bismack, his friend, from playing on Orlando Magic together. And he said, I want to do this show called How Hungry Are You? And that's how it started. And yeah, they were talking about Serge has a photographic memory about the guests and what he served them. And Alex was saying, yeah, what did Kyle Lowry have on the show? Oh, he had testicle. He had testicle. And he's like, that was some testicle art. I'm like, Alex Wong, you're a wild one for that one. That was hilarious when you said that, man. And, the interview was really good. It went in depth about Kawhi leaving. And this was the end of the interview. And Serge Wood just kept going like this. Oh, Kawhi. Oh, Kawhi. Because he kept saying he thinks that we would have won 2 more rings if Kawhi Leonard had stuck in Toronto. And, of course, Serge Ibaka, in the middle of this whole thing, obviously wants to get as many NBA rings as he can. And it really does bug him that Kawhi made the choice to go to the Clippers. And it's kind of funny because we do know Serge went to the Clippers and played with him there after the Raptors. I wonder if he gave him shit on the team while they were playing together on the Clippers. It's like, Kawhi, if you had just stayed in Toronto, we would have won another one. Come on, man. And he even thinks if the pandemic hadn't happened, that the Raptors might have won the championship with an uninterrupted season by COVID. So, Serge was very open and honest about things. He loves Toronto. He said, like, I'm home when I'm here. And he divulged that he leaves his championship ring in Toronto. When he leaves, he comes back and he sees it here, but he doesn't take it with him out of the city. And he really does consider Toronto home. And I love that. I mean, he's probably got multiple homes that he considers. I'm sure there's a city in Spain that he considers home too. I think Barcelona or Madrid. And I'm sure he thinks Brazzaville is home too. But Toronto is definitely one of his homes. I would say on North America, Toronto is probably his home as far as between the United States and Canada. So, yeah, we love you, Serge. Thank you for being so unguarded and just really casual and being yourself. I know Alex Wong is not totally the most professional interviewer, but I felt like that interview came off really well, informally like that. And Wong is definitely a fun guy. He's a fun guy. And Kawhi, I wish you had been a fun guy in Toronto a couple more years. Seriously, guy. Because you left some stuff on the table, obviously. If one of your good friends and former champion teammates, Serge Ibaka, thinks so. Serge Ibaka thinks so. Great interview. Highly recommend it. Hello and welcome. Alex Wong interview with Serge Ibaka. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Roger Raymond's praying for a complete recovery for Adriana. Yeah, she's not really in trouble or anything. She's doing this as a test to help them. She's not being like healed. She's volunteering to come down for a scientific experiment on her to see her seizures and how they happen. So she doesn't have to be at the hospital right now. She's doing this out of the goodness of her heart for science. Thank you, Roger Raymond, for being here. Once again, thank you for being one of the valued channel members of the Raptor Freak channel. I really appreciate you guys' monthly support. If you want to be like Roger Raymond and get a great little Raptor logo next to your name and access to all our emoticons, access to our social media on Discord and Facebook, become a channel member. It's really cheap. Once a month. Purple membership is not much at all. It's like for a couple dollars a month, you can be a member of this channel and get all the perks. So highly consider joining the channel. If you do like what I'm doing, it's a really easy way to just slightly support me. And I appreciate Roger for doing it. Number one for Adriana. That's right. Monique saying, I'm not buying the RJ trade talks. Just stop. Yeah. We're, in some ways, this is a no trade RJ zone. A lot of people talk about trading RJ in other places around Raptors world. It's not here. It's not here. It's stupid. In some ways, it's annoying. Let's go see what they're saying on Reddit since you brought it up. Okay, here. This is the first one. Okay, Masai would never. Okay, what is this saying? All right, let me read this real quick. Okay, now Bobby is in charge. Despite him being Masai's understudy for over a decade, he's still his own guy and will likely do things a little more his way. Colin Murray-Boyles over Mulawatch is probably the most obvious thing recently. Okay, you were not paying attention, Bixby. I'm going to tell you what it is, Bixby 33, in a second. Most of us understood Masai and his moves. Maybe not always agree, though. Trust in Masai, motherfucker. And the type of things Masai just would never do. What are the things that Masai would never, that Bobby actually will? I'll go first. Masai would never trade away more than a single first-round pick in a deal. I don't know. I think that in some ways, look, the way this guy's trying to distinguish Masai from Bobby is not totally clear because, listen, you got to understand, these guys worked as a partnership for years. And in some ways, the consensus decisions were made by both of them. Like, listen, this is the thing. When you have a brain trust and they work well together, it's not about a fight about who's choosing what. It's about working together with your knowledge and intelligence to get the best decision and figuring it out. There's never a place, I don't think, maybe there was, and I'm being stupid, where Masai and Bobby were absolutely at odds and arguing about what we're supposed to do. I think more often than not, they were thinking the same thing. And I think more often than not, if there was slight differences in what they were talking about, it was a very easy compromise. So I think that this person has a weird idea about how the Raptors have been run for the last 13 years. That on the down low, maybe Bobby was not allowed to do what he wanted to do because Masai told him not to. No, that was never the case. In fact, Masai has often said his people that excel in what they do and they're good at it, he likes to let them do it. So Bobby's really good at GMing. Bobby's really good at finagling trades. He's very good with the cap. So Masai isn't meddling with him, trying to stop him. If Bobby Webster comes at him and he lays out a trade, like the Brandon Ingram trade or something like that, the DeMar for Kawhi trade, and Masai looks it over and he says, yeah, this makes sense, Bobby. This sounds great. Let's do it. I think this person has a weird idea about just the way that the Raptors front office has been working for over a decade with Masai here. And it's not like Bobby Webster's just unchained all of a sudden and Masai was holding him back. That's not what this fucking is. It's ridiculous. No, Bobby is more likely to, in some cases, do the what would Masai do thing in his mind. If he's in a moment of like not totally understanding what to do in the moment at decision making, he's probably thinking in the terms of Masai's brain and what he did with him before. That's probably way more likely than Bobby Webster saying everything Masai did before I'm forgetting and I'm not going to honor or do the way he did. No, he's going to pick that baton up, and all the signals have shown that he's going to be exactly like Masai Ujiri almost, because he basically said the same thing that Masai would say at the end of his press conference after he got the new title this week, that we expect to win another championship in this city. He just picked up the baton of saying the word win over and over again like Masai. So I would say to Bixby 33, the Kamamala Watch, Colin Murray Boyle's decision was not made by Masai Ujiri or Bobby Webster. It was made by Rich Paul. The footage is out there. The evidence is there. If you do not understand this well, you need to watch the Raptors Freak channel more often, because we cover everything with a fine-tooth comb. And we saw the footage of Rich Paul calling Phoenix and saying, yeah, you guys get Common. He stopped and blocked Toronto from getting Kamamala Watch. Common was not going to come here. And it may be because they knew Masai was about to get fired. They may be because he didn't want him to be in Toronto because Shamshay's already here. And he didn't want two of his African clients to be on the same team, button up into each other. There's a lot of multiple reasons why Malawatch did not get drafted by the Raptors. And it's kind of a very basic take to think, oh, this was a fight between Bobby and Masai, but Bobby wanted Colin and Masai wanted Common. No. That's not what it was. And in some ways, look, Bobby Webster said at Holt Renfrew when he was on Hello and Welcome that they had 5 guys already in mind for the draft, and they just had to see how it went. I think at that point, Common wasn't one of those 5 guys. I'm going to say this right now. I think that they had decided that they already had Shamshay. He's already enough of a young project, and in fact, a much more promising project than Common in some ways. I'm going to say this right now. Shamshay has more offensive potential than Common Malawatch does in the NBA. And in some ways, they didn't need another project like him. So could it be that was just a misdirect the whole time? We just assumed, and I'm to blame too, because I'm guilty of it from earlier this summer, that we put so much emphasis on the Raptors getting Common Malawatch because we needed a center, and that we thought that this guy was the best center at the top of the draft, and we hoped he would fall to us at 9, and he did, and then we passed on him, and we took a small power forward named Colin Murray Boyles out of South Carolina. You know, the whole thing that happened there was Rich Paul was like directing Common to the Suns. He directed him to them, and he bypassed us. And in some ways, he could even told Bobby, it's like, don't draft Common. We're not going to report. So the decision to not take Common was not by us necessarily, but it may have been also because we had already decided his bustability factor is too high. And it's looking like that at this point. So I think this guy's got a really weird idea about Bobby and Masai and who they were and working together. I think they really do. Here's another one from Raptors Reddit real quick. I like Mamu and Mobo is interesting, but if Jakob Poeltl goes down, this team is in trouble. Do you have any concern about the backup center situation? This is an interesting one. All right. This is a really long post, so I'm not going to read all of it. I'll just do the question. You know, Sandra Mamu is actually a very solid starting center. And I don't know if this guy knows this yet. You're gonna have to familiarize yourself with 2 players this year, and that's Brandon Ingram and Sandra Mamu. And Sandra Mamu and the rookies too. But Sandro has been a quality spot starter for the Spurs and the Bucks in the past couple years. There were times where Brook Lopez was not available for the Bucks, and he started for the Bucks with Giannis. Sandro Mamu has started against the Raptors. So I totally disagree with this. If he thinks we're in trouble, we would be able to put in a solid backup center at start, and he would actually be a good backup for a little while. Jakob's the optimal choice, obviously, because of experience and just what he does is amazing. But Sandro Mamu is not as far a jump out of the picture as you think. And he's a very viable backup center who would be able to start for games if we had to do that. Knock on wood, this never happens. Now, Jonathan and Ulrich would get bumped up, and they would be coming up to the big squad to help with size off the bench at that point. But don't discount Sandra Mamu. I'm telling you that right there. Jake Fisher's got some bullshit on Reddit that he posted. Jake Fisher saying this: when we get closer to December, I have the Raptors already earmarked as a buyer. RJ Barrett is certainly a name to be on the lookout as a potential trade candidate going out the door. Jake Fisher's a hater. Jake Fisher does not like the Raptors. He never has. And some of this shit is just subterfuge. Once again, people want RJ off the Raptors so bad right now. So bad. They hate the synergy of a Toronto kid playing for Toronto And if Toronto has success with the Toronto kid, the thought of all that just makes our haters hate it so much. So to avoid that happening, they said, well, the best case scenario is to just get RJ off the team before it can possibly happen. And Jake Fisher, that is what it is. So if you're listening to Jake Fisher, understand where he comes from and who he is and why he would say something like that. Listen, if we're going to trade RJ, it's not going to happen in December, motherfucker, idiot. If we're going to trade him, it's not going to happen in December. All right, let's go. Let's go. All right, that's enough for the Raptors Reddit. It's kind of ridiculous. People are, you got to get informed. Well, write crazy shit on Reddit. I might react to it on the show. Write crazy shit on Reddit. You might hear me on the show. That's right. Let's see. Carlos saying, hang on, jumped ahead. BI has everything we need, shot making and basketball IQ up the wazoo. We have a starting 5 of high basketball IQ players. Yeah, that's another reason why we're more destined with our young core to excel and grow and get better. Everybody wants to talk about Orlando's young core, Detroit's young core, all these different young cores around the league, and they totally overlook our young core. Our young core is very dangerous. In fact, we may have the best young core in the league on the down low, but they would never, ever say that. ESPN would never rank the Raptors. They didn't even put us in the ranking of the best young cores in the recent ranking of the best young cores. They only did like 5 of them, but they didn't put the Raptors on it. Well, that's the thing. They're going to find out. Our young core may be the number 1 young core in this league this year. Seriously, they're going to find that out. I want them to prove that to them. I'm sick of this shit. I want the respect. Scotty, go get the respect for us this year and kick everybody's ass, please. Because this is a lot of disrespect for you guys right now, and it's not fair to you guys. You got to change the narrative, is what I'm saying. Kaloy's saying it's going to be about reps and getting at and gelling at this point. I'm so excited. Yeah, we're going to be in a new stage. The third year of Darko needs to be a little bit more advanced. It needs to be a little bit more successful. For sure, it needs to be more successful. And we need to see growth in the connection of the players. And that is what we will get. I bet you we will. That's what we'll get. Smooth saying, if I ever meet Adriana, I will give her a hug. It means so much what she's doing. Yeah, she's a selfless person. And in some ways, she's willing to go do stuff that most people would say, no, I'd never do it. Some people don't, don't give blood. Some people give blood and they do it often and they volunteer. They're selfless. And some people were like, I never do that. Gross. Needles. Ugh. In some ways, like how many people are signing up to voluntarily go to the hospital for 2 weeks and have electrodes stuck to your head? Not many people are doing that, but Adriana is one of them that is. And that's very selfless to give 2 weeks of your life to something like this. That's very selfless. That's right. Smooth saying, you give her a hug for me, Lex, please and thanks. I will. I hope I get a chance to hug Adriana soon. I don't get to see her as often as I used to, guys. It's just how our lives have changed. But I'm going to try and go by and see her at the hospital in the next week if she's going to be there longer. My parents are going to be here on Saturday, and they're probably going to want to go see her too when they get here. So I'll probably wait till then, and maybe we'll go and see her around next week or something like that. Yeah, let's see. Kaloy's saying maybe we should put our excitement not on Brandon alone, but the whole starting 5. No matter where I look, the first 5 looks deadly when healthy. Excitement. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're asking me what I'm excited to see this year, Brandon is near the top of the list for sure. But I'm also excited to see Colin. Colin Murray-Bowles is going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. I want to see the continued progress of our rookies from last year. Ulrich is a big one. Obviously, everybody's crazy about Shamshay, and they want to see where he's going. Jamal Shed, Jacoby Walter. Yeah, those are 2 guys that we're going to be watching this year for sure. Grady Dick. That's another one we want to see a huge jump from in certain ways. And we could even go right to the center of it all and Scotty Barnes and think about what is possible with him and the other 2 barbecue guys, Barrett and Quickly. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of potential here. Last year, a lot of the Raptors had career years for them in their career. Jakob Poeltl had a career year for his whole career. Chris Boucher had his career year last year. And these guys are long tooth veterans. And, the young guys are going to have career years more and more every year because they're supposed to get better every year, right? So it's like we could focus on Ingram and say, wow, this is the big weapon that we've added. We have not get to see on the court yet, but there's a lot of growth and fun in the guys we have that are young and them making jumps. And people like Jacoby, Jamal, Grady, Oshai, Jonathan, Jameson, Elijah, there's a Chucky. There's a lot of different guys that can make interesting jumps in different places. Smith's saying, yep, this is BI's final chance. If our medical team can't fix him, it's over. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to look good for him. In some ways, it's like, look, man, what are you doing with your life? It's like, do you want to be like Zion? Do you want to be like Ben Simmons? Or do you want to be like Kobe? That's what I asked Brandon Ingram right here. It's like, you could be like Zion. You could be like Ben Simmons and have DMPs for the rest of your career and just coast and make that bag. But what the fuck is your legacy? Seriously. If you really want to be great, you have to be on the court and play. And Brandon Ingram, I mean, if your hero is Kobe Bryant, you need to get healthy and you need to get out there and look like Mamba again. Seriously. Slim Mamba. That's right. You need to look like Slim Mamba out there. That's right. Seymour saying, Kevin Garnett said the key to the Raptors organization is the fans. He said the energy we bring alone can hype up the average player to go hard and look good. I think this is true. I think that in some ways the Raptors team since the start and the way that John Batove Jr. and Isaiah Thomas set the tone with in some ways emulating the Detroit Pistons and the Bad Boys, because Isaiah Thomas, that's all he knew. That's what his team was. That was the team that he played his whole entire career for, was Detroit. And in some ways he brought that mentality to our team in the beginning. And we had a very big veteran team in our rookie season as a franchise. And that was a part of the defense, the physicalness and the blue collarness of our team has always been there. Fans up here in Canada love blue collar. They're hockey fans. They like the work. They like hard work. They like tough, gritty guys. They like go after guys like the JYD. So in some ways, that is part of our character and stuff. And it's evolved over time. The Raptors fans were very quiet in the arena when I was working at Air Canada Center when they first opened it. They did not know how to cheer for the team correctly. And more over time, they learned and they got louder and louder, and they became one of the best fan bases and the loudest crowds in the NBA. And as part of it's the knowledge of the game grew, and also understanding the game, and success brought a lot of it too. But yeah, our passionate fans are definitely a strength. And I love that Kevin Garnett said that. I feel like in some ways we're the epitome of what he's talking about right there. We're the epitome of this right here on this channel. Monique saying have a mindset like mine when it comes to the Raptors. That's right. People need to have a do or die, ride or die for your team. Like Monique would never sell out the Raptors. Monique, it's like, look, they can talk about NWO for life. Raptors for life. That's Monique's credo. That's just how it is. They could come to her. If somebody came to her right now, they call her. It's like, hello, Monique. My name is Nico Harrison, and I'm the GM of the Dallas Mavericks. And we got a new player named Cooper Flagg. And I don't know if you've heard of him, Monique, but I'd like to solicit you to becoming a Mavericks fan. I will offer you $1 billion if you come to the Mavericks fan base right now. We've seen the work you do for the Toronto Raptors and your super fandom, and we need you down here because everybody hates me, and I need a new leader that will like me. If I pay you $1 billion, will you say that you like Nico and everybody can try and like me again? Because you can help me, please. But we have Cooper, we have Kyrie, we have Anthony Davis. We could have a really good time here. I'm Nico. Please like me. What do you think Monique would say to that phone call? What do you think she would say to that? Hi, would you like to be a Mavericks fan? I'm Nico Harrison. She'd say, shut the fuck up. Hang up on him. She'd say that. $1 billion ain't enough, Nico. No. Monique Lawrence is like that for the Raptors. That's right. It ain't changing. That's right. Kaloy saying, I really do think that Kawhi is on the spectrum. Yeah, well, we can speculate different things. I don't know if that may be right, but in some ways it doesn't matter. In some ways, the stigma of being on the spectrum should be taken out. But either way, I mean, it's his private life and stuff like that. I think that Kawhi is just a different kind of person. I mean, we're talking about social media and rotting people's brains. I think he's smart that he stays away from social media. I think he's smart in some ways. Kaloy saying Jake Fisher is just laying out the low hanging fruit. So that if he happens, he'll say he called it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's anything to that rumor. I think that in some ways RJ is going to do stuff in the beginning of the season, and he's going to be just so good and so valuable. But I think that all this overhype about RJ not being here is obviously haters that hate a Toronto kid playing for Toronto. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. that there's a really that kind of energy towards that is definitely that. It's seriously. If you're a Raptors fan, you should want Barrett on your team. If you're one of these Raptors fans that does not want Barrett on your team, fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself is what I'll tell you. I'll tell you that right there. Let's see. Most saying W Stream, W Vibes. Go Raptors for life. Keep at it always, Lex. Raptor Freak Crew strong forever. Just helping me limit the comments. I appreciate that. And Mo, I hope I didn't misrepresent you in my little skit just now with Nico Harrison calling you. I'm sure she'd be like, $1 billion? Fuck you. You can't. I will not be bought. I'm a Raptor fan for life. That's right. That's what she would say. Kaz is saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Trucker Kaz. Guys, let's do the straight goods on Canadian goods today. Listen, you may want to buy frozen fruit or frozen vegetables to put in your freezer. So maybe if you get hit in the head, you can put some iced peas on there or something like that. No, you want frozen fruit, frozen vegetables. Well, there's a Canadian company that sells it. BC Frozen Foods Limited can sell you fruit and vegetables. So if you see BC Frozen Foods, it's Canadian owned and operated, focusing on processing and packaging frozen fruits and vegetables in Canada. So it's out of BC, obviously. So yeah, feel good if you see the brand BC Frozen Foods. That's Canadian frozen vegetables and frozen fruits processed here in Canada. Canadian economy, support Canada is what I'm saying. There's a lot of big brands that we're used to that are American and we need to turn away from. Don't go to Walmart. Don't go to McDonald's. Don't go to Starbucks. Don't go to those big name brands anymore. There's Canadian equivalents, and we can continue to help the economy of Canada and hurt the U.S. economy and hurt the MAGA world by continuing to buy Canadian and do it proudly. And seriously, y'all aren't helping if you're in the McDonald's drive-thru. Y'all ain't helping if you love Starbucks so much that you need to continue to go to Starbucks. Fuck that shit. Go to Second Cup. Go to A&W. Go to Harvey's. Go to Swiss Chalet. There's so many other alternatives that are Canadian, that you can choose the right ones. And we are having a huge impact. Once again, they're not advertising the influence and the power of the Canadian not spending money in America right now. It's hugely hurting them. It's hurting tourist industry. It's hurting Kentucky bourbon companies. It's hurting all kinds of different places. They're hurting for this. And in some ways, once again, I'll say it. It's not that we don't like the Americans. We love the Americans that believe in the true idea of what the United States is supposed to be. A democracy full of freedom for all, a place that's a beacon of light for people around the world to possibly come and have a better life. We are against the politics and the government right now of Donald Trump and everybody who's subjugated to it. We're with you, solidarity. But in some ways, to hurt the whole thing, we have to do what we have to do. So hopefully y'all will get up off your ass and take care of a wannabe dictator and kick him the fuck out of office as soon as possible. So Canada's got to do what's got to do. He started this shit and we will finish it because we know what to do. And if we spend our money the right ways, we can have more power in this, guys. So trust me, buy BC Frozen Foods and don't go to Starbucks or McDonald's. There you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Kaloy saying, I do believe at some point in the season, RJ will become one of the most important pieces to this team. Yeah. I mean, once again, I want RJ to just kick so much ass that nobody's talking about wanting to trade him. Nobody. The other teams and other people will still continue to say it because they're just sick of him beating their ass. But all the Raptors fans will be like protecting him finally because I want that. I hear too many Raptors Nation people selling out Barrett, and it's pissing me off, guys. It's pissing me off. Y'all should not be like that towards our hometown guy, RJ. RJ is a hero for Canada on both the Raptors and Team Canada basketball. So come on now. Respect the man. Most saying, it's just funny, Lex. That's all. Yeah, it's kind of funny. What did that happen if they called you? Nico Harris says, hello, Monique. I know about you, a super fan. And I think that, we could do this. I've already signed Nav. Nav took like $100 to sell out the Raptors. No, he didn't take that much. He took way more. He took $10 million to come to the Dallas Mavericks. We're paying him $10 million. We want to give you $1 billion. Will you come and be a Cooper Flag fan, Monique? Hell no. Hang up. That's right. Boom goes the dynamite. That's right. That's right. That's right. James is saying RJ can get a lot of easy buckets if the opposite team is focused on Barnes and BI. Yeah. Yeah. RJ's going to be fantastic, guys. I am so ready to see RJ kick so much ass this year. I really am. Seymour Sam, man's gonna feast. I like that. Let's go check on the Tabs Instagram stories real quick. We got DeMar DeRozan, and it looks like it's Percy Miller. Is that Percy Miller? I'm not totally sure. Things going kind of good is what he's saying. If that's any portal into his status in the NBA, playing as a Sacramento King and what he would rather be doing, yeah, things kind of going good. It's an interesting message. Gary Trent Jr., we're still covering him. There he is in the Bucks jersey with the fire behind him. There he is squatting. He's a legacy player. His father played for the Raptors, so did he. So in some ways, he's still a special player. He's celebrating Amir Coffey signing with the Milwaukee Bucks recently. Yes, sir, Koff. So he's going to have the teammate with Amir Coffey. And yeah, just more pictures of the Bucks squad and him. Oh, and there's King Bolton. King Bolton sitting on the couch, and he's smiling and happy, is saying they whisper when I struggle, but go silent when I shine. Story of my life. Back to the grind. We love you, King Bolton. Even though you're not with Raptors Nation anymore because you're with Bucks Nation, we love you, King Bolton, and we only wish the best for Jordan Bolton, the good friend of Gary Trent Jr. That's right. Always good to see King Bolton on my social media. That's right. Let's see what Chris Boucher is doing on his Instagram right now. What is going on? Why is it locking up right now? What are you doing? Why did you not go there? Let me see. Is it like screwed up? Wow, my Instagram is all screwed up all of a sudden. Man, Instagram's having problems with its code. It's really weird, man. All right, let me reset it real quick. I noticed this. It's like overlaying in all kinds of weird ways. Whatever you're doing, Zuckerberg, it's all fucked up, man. Like, in some ways, I want to leave Instagram, but this is the way I can see the Raptors' lives. Scotty had an interesting post on Instagram. We'll get to it in a sec. Let's see. All right, Lou Getz Dort. There he is in Montreal. He's talking to the crowd and is a champion. And talking to the crowd, and as Fiercy said, Fiercy Jr. is going to go see Lou Getz today in North Montreal at the parade. And we see Rumble, the Thunder mascot, is with Lou. And they announced it. What is it? It's this day is Lou Getz Dort Day. Yeah, that's what they're doing in Montreal today. It's Lou Getz Dort Day. Let's see. Slim Duck is got a song by J. Cole he's playing right now. Don't give them too much. You don't give them too much. Don't let them take control. Don't let them take control. It's one thing you do. It's one thing you do. Don't let them taint your soul. Don't let them taint your soul. There you go. There's another picture of them on the boat playing dominoes. Chris smiling big, smiling cheesy, happy. There you go, Chris Boucher. Raptors official going on about Terrence Ross yesterday. Is saying, y'all ever just sit there thinking of Terrence Ross? No, I mean, I did for a while this summer or last summer too, because Terrence was on Twitch all the time and I talked to him. So I wouldn't even just be thinking about him. I'd be talking to him. I mean, I guess they're asking, did you ever think about Terrence Ross and his dunks and how amazing he was for the Raptors? Yeah, we could think about that. Savannah Hamilton was at the Chris Brown concert, is what the concert was that Chris Boucher was at in Savannah Hamilton this weekend. I figured out who it was. It was Chris Brown at the Rogers Stadium. And now Savannah's doing a commercial for Maybelline on her Instagram also. Maybe it's Maybelline. Let's see. Jonathan Mobo, where are you, sir? You are at Blue Skies, Doherty State Beach. I think he's still in California, but I'm not totally sure. But he's on a beach somewhere. That's where Mobo is. Evan Gilliard, get ready for the CBL playoffs is the start. He's in Winnipeg, and they're putting up shots. He's getting warmed up. There's Norman Powell understanding the grind with some of his guys down in Miami. I guess it's UFC or something. There's the host of the CBL Weekend, Championship Weekend, talking about what they're doing down there, Canada Life's building. Winnipeg, and all the festivities that are going on this weekend around the CBL Championship Weekend. Fantastic stuff. You got to love it. There's the commissioner of the CBL talking about it at this coaches press conference yesterday. CBL is arriving, y'all. Emmanuel Quickly has got a picture of all the young dreamers from his camp, which is always cool to see. And there he is also with his camp t-shirt on. He looks like he's happy and smiling. Let's see. Lindsey Dunn is at the Mississauga Golf and Country Club. Not sure what's going on there. It's a women's golf tournament. Charles Oakley's got some sort of practice somewhere, and there he is with a friend. And yeah, that's cool. Andrew Jones is imploring people that have young daughters in their family, all girls going into grade 4 or younger, you can try out for a team that Ava Jones plays for on there right now. It's the VYTIS tryouts are here. So if you want to try out for young girls basketball, The Ava Jones plays on that team. You can do that. Scotty Barnes posting a clip from earlier this summer that was pretty funny. I was there live when this happened on the Twitch stream. It was stupid, man. It was right after we got eliminated from we didn't make the playoffs. We were just on the off season, and some idiot came in on Scotty's Twitch stream and basically said, "Hey, how's Cancun?" And Scotty said, "You're banned. You're blocked. You're out of here." He's saying he wants to collaborate with somebody from that. I'm not sure what that means. AJ Lawson with his campers from last week in Brampton. AJ Lawson, a basketball camp, huge success. Love to see the smiles of the kids and AJ smiling too. There's your Instagram stories for today. Scotty's saying he wants to collab with the guy who said, "How's Cancun?" I don't know if that's what he meant. I don't know if that's what he meant right there. Yeah, let's check in on our poll real quick. Right now, Scarborough's still winning, 52% of the vote, 19 for Calgary and 19 for Winnipeg, 10% for Niagara. There you go. Keep voting, guys, until the stream's over, and we will have the final results. Who's going to win the CEBL Championship on Sunday night in the championship game in Winnipeg? Who will be the winner, guys? That's right. That's right. Who's it going to be? That's right. Seymour Pape wants to see more Elijah Martin posters. Yeah, that'll be something that's fun to watch. You know, there's different kind of fun things with different people. We want to see Chucky Hepburn steal the ball from people. We want to hear the just like a Friday the 13th sound. Chucky. Coming to get the ball from you, coming up behind you to steal it. We want to see Elijah Martin take the elevator up and throw that ball down on people's heads. We want to see Colin Murray Boyles get some blocks and steals and be a defensive presence. It's going to be fun to see our rookie class this year and the possibilities of their actions and what they like to do. We want to see more Jamal Shed 8-second violations at half court. That's right. Those are the things we want to see this year. Elijah Martin posters, Colin Murray Boyles blocks, and Jamal Shed's 8-second violations. That's right. Seymour saying if they focus on Scotty and Brandon, might as well call RJ Lotto 649 because he's going to be money. All right. The man's name is Seymour Paper. And, well, he's saying he knows that paper will be printed in this situation for RJ Barrett if there's going to be so much attention on the focal point of Barnes and Brandon. Yeah, I can see what he's saying here right now. And you know what? I'm going to give a dunk to Seymour Pape for making that analogy. That was awesome. 162 for Seymour on the dunk charts. Man, you're rising up there, man. You're rising. That's right. Dan's here. Good to see Dan Rosario. Welcome and good morning to you, sir. Great to see you in the chat again. Ross posterizing the Manimal was one of the best Raptor dunks of all time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. He does have a really good mixtape. Seriously. You want to go find a good dunk mixtape, Terrence Ross is pretty damn good. Seriously. I mean, look, Vince, we know Vince is the greatest dunker in the history of the NBA. A lot of people commonly say this. It's not just Raptors bluster. A Raptor fan said, "Oh, Vince is the greatest dunker of all time." No, a lot of people can agree with that over Michael and Dominique and Dr. J and all of them, and they will agree with that. I think even Michael says it himself, guys. Seriously. I think I've heard Michael Jordan actually say in an interview, "I think Vince Carter is a better dunker than me." And so it's not, but Terrence Ross, he is actually one of the best dunkers in the history of the Raptors too. Seriously. And you know, you can put DeMar in that category too. There was some stuff that DeMar was doing when he was younger that was really phenomenal. And he did do the dunk contest too. So, you know, you're thinking about your top 5 greatest dunkers in Raptors history. Terrence Ross has to be in that top 5. Terrence Ross has to be in that top 5, if not in the top 3, honestly. If not in the top 3. That's right. Seymour saying DeRozan in Detroit will never be topped. In some ways, that is such a badass dunk because it's a clutch dunk at the end of the game to win the game, and you're throwing it on their head, and they couldn't do a damn thing about it. I'm agree with Seymour. That was a pretty big dunk right there. That Manimal dunk, though, also that Dan's bringing up, it was nasty. Very nasty. That was just wrong what he did to that guy, man. It was awful. It was crazy. Poster on Tolliver for the win, too. Yeah. Yeah, that's special, man. You don't often see a posterized dunk as a game winner. That's kind of an interesting Venn diagram. Let's just put it that way. Fiercey's got the starters on blast here. We got Barbecue, Brandon, and Yak. Best starting 5, wishing them health and great success this upcoming season. Yes, all of us are wishing that for our Toronto Raptors, starters, bench, everybody. With the Raptors, we want everybody to be healthy, happy. Matt Devlin, Jack Armstrong, Alvin Williams. Yeah, we want the coaches and general manager Bobby Webster, Dan Tolzman. Yeah, everybody happy. Everybody happy, including Keith Pelly. We don't want to ruin your weekend, Keith Pelly. We want you to be happy so you won't mess with the Raptors. Because if we're successful, you'll be happy and you'll go away. That's what we want right there. That's right. James Johnson on Drummond was mind-blowing. That is, you know what? All right. If we're saying singular dunks that happened in Raptors jerseys, that is a top 5 dunk of all time for sure. The cocked that joint back and banged on him. Yeah, roses are red, violets are blue. I cocked that joint back and I banged it on you. I love that Valentine by James Johnson of the Pacers. Yeah, that dunk is epic. That's a legendary dunk, and that is definitely a top 5 dunk in the history of the Raptors for sure. Yeah. I love that. That you like the Valentine of it, right? Roses are red, violets are blue. I cocked that joint back and I banged it on you. That's right. Yeah, that's what he said. He put that in the post afterwards. It's like, I was like, man, you go, James Johnson. You're a badass, man. You know, there's some speculation that James Johnson as dangerous as everybody thinks he is, because in some ways it's like his reputation is bigger than his actual ability. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. All right, let's do some birthdays real quick. Happy birthday to Raptors champion Jody Meeks. Jody Meeks has turned 38 today. So happy 38th birthday, Jody Meeks. Of course, he won the championship with the Raptors in 2019. He's retired a couple years ago, and he's been he was on the Raptors 905 the last year he played for the in the league. He just came back for a brief little stint and played for Raptors 905 for a second in 2022, and he's been retired since then. Currently, he's an assistant coach on the New Orleans Pelicans. He moved up from the G League team, and he's actually an assistant coach in the NBA for the Pelicans at this point. So yeah, that's what Jody Meeks is up to at this point. Happy birthday, Jody. Also, a happy birthday to Dwayne Whitfield. Dwayne Whitfield was a Raptor briefly for 8 games in 1995-96. He had a career high of 16 points in a game playing for the Raptors that year. He did get to start 1 game for the Raptors. So happy birthday to Dwayne Whitfield also. I believe Dwayne is 53 today. So happy 53rd birthday to Dwayne Whitfield, former Raptor. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the classic card, baby. That's right. Let's see. Marco Bellinelli just hung it up along with John Wall, too. That's right. We heard that former Raptor Marco Bellinelli, Italian player, has retired recently. Congratulations to him. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Seymour. Salute to Marco. That's right. All right, let's see. What we got here? Oh, weird. This is fucked up, guys. I did not do this, guys. So just so you know, get this card right away. This is fucked up. This is once again the alignment and synchronicities of manifestation and my higher power telling me that we're doing things right here, guys. Who is this classic card? Full name answer. Don't half-ass me. Yeah, you can see who that is and write it in. This is so crazy. Honestly, because we don't talk about this guy every day. And in some ways, we just talked about him. It's not James Johnson, Fiercey. It's weird, man. Andrew Wiggins. It is Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, we got the card of Andrew Wiggins today. I blindly just pulled this out of the box. It's not like I planned this at all. It's weird when this shit happens, guys. Like the Bill Laimbeer classic card we had that one time. And also the fact that we pulled Oliver Miller as the classic card the day he died. I don't know. There's synchronicities in this world, and there's just things that happen. We spent a lot of time talking about Andrew Wiggins today and whether we'd want him on the Raptors instead of RJ Barrett. And, well, he's the classic card. I just pulled him blindly. And it's Fiercey that got it. Yeah, it's Fiercey. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, and the Kawhi Leonard happened time too. Like, how many players have played in the NBA? How much different permutations are possible in the classic card that I'm pull out there? Like, this isn't just for current players. This is for the whole history of the NBA, or not the whole, but for the cards that I have. It's just weird, man. I'm going to give you 50 points for the classic card of the day today, Fiercey, for Andrew Wiggins. That's kind of crazy, man. That, like, holy crap, man. That's so weird that happened. Fiercey's gotten the classic card 3 days in a row now. So, yeah, 50 today. That's not a hard card in some ways. But, yeah, it's so weird, man. You see Seymour got it first? Hang on. Oh, wait, you're right. Seymour did get it first. You're right. Okay, so my correction. My correction. I'm sorry about that. This is why maybe I need Adriana around if she's watching still. Okay, I'm moving that to Seymour getting the 50 points. You're right. He did say that first. I see it up there now. She said James Johnson. He said Andrew Wiggins. And then she said Andrew Wiggins. And then Cool Cat said Andrew Wiggins. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Seymour got it. I apologize, guys. Yeah. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Kareem saying, "Oh shit, Andrew, stay alive, man." Yeah. I hope he's all right. Yeah. Broski jammed me. Yeah. Yeah. No, you got it, man. You got Maple Jordan. And yeah, I don't know why I saw her wrote it at that point and I didn't scroll back up. Okay. All right. We got 5 minutes on the stream. We'll spend the last little bit maybe going over the main point of today, which is CBL playoffs. If you guys do want to call, this is your last chance. The call-in show is still open for 5 more minutes. I'll take one more call. If you do want to call the channel right now, if you have the phone number, you can call. But yeah, let's check in on our poll. It really is a favor for Scarborough that 52% of you guys are thinking that Scarborough's going to win the CBL playoffs this weekend, beating Niagara and then the winner from the other side. Yeah, interesting. Calgary and Winnipeg both tied for the second most votes, and Niagara last. I'm going to end the poll right here. So yeah, Scarborough is the favorite to win the CBL playoffs this weekend, according to the Raptor Freaks. So yeah, I'm excited about the games tomorrow. I want to watch them with you guys. I'll be on Discord at 7 tomorrow night. I think 6 or 7 in the evening. We'll watch the Scarborough Niagara game on Discord. I have the app for CBL, so you can watch it through the Discord with me on there. You don't have to have the app for yourself. You can go get it if you want, but the ability to watch the game on the Discord is there. You don't have to watch. We'll watch the same screen. I'll share it on Discord and you can see it through there. Yeah. Fiercely saying, fam, attend the game if possible. Yeah. I mean, if you guys are in Winnipeg, that's where the game is. We can't see the game here because Scarborough's not playing here for the game. All the games this weekend will be in Winnipeg. And well, if there's Raptor Freaks in Winnipeg, you go on then and check out the CBL Championship Weekend. So yeah, tomorrow night, I will be watching on Discord and you guys are welcome to watch along. Both the CBL playoff games in a row, Scarborough versus Niagara, and then Winnipeg versus Calgary. So if you guys can get in there, yeah, Seymour, let's go Surge and let's go Shooting Stars. That's the finals he wants to see. And that could very well be what happens. That could very well be what happens. All right, Seymour, we're going to have to get you a link to get into the chat and into the Discord so you can watch with us tomorrow night and we can talk during the game. That's the great thing about the Discord. Is share the screen and we can be on mic and we can even get on camera and talk through the camera too if you want to. Me and Wayne Strainer, he's been like my regular person that's been watching the games with me. It's been so fun to hang out with Wayne and joke around and watch the game and you know, opine on what's happening in the game in the real time while it's happening. So yeah, I invite you guys to join the channel as a member and then you'll get access to the Discord to be able to get this extra premium content from the Raptor Freak channel. That's right. Kareem saying, "Oh my God, Paige Buck has dropped 44 last night and saved my WNBA fantasy." Yeah. We were talking about that earlier. I was pretty sure you had her on your team. Somebody brought up that she got 44 last night. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I think Kareem should be pretty happy about that. That's what I said earlier. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching the Thursday Think Tank call-in show on the Raptor Freak channel. Thank you to Seymour for your 4 quarters, and thank you to MJ for your call and check in on MJ on Fiercely Salcera Jr. And thank you to Adriana also for calling in today and also for your selfless thing that you're doing as far as like studying for epilepsy and stuff like that for the doctors. All right, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow on Friday Freak Out. We're going to find out what's going on for me to freak out about tomorrow. But thank you for watching a CBL centered stream. And seriously, if you guys have not watched CBL yet, take a chance on it tomorrow night. It's very high quality basketball. In some ways, I'd say it's better than G League NBA basketball because G League has younger players that are not as polished, and they make a lot of extra mistakes just because they're young and they're trying to make the league. The CBL has veteran players that are not good enough to make the NBA, but they're older, and in some ways, they play in more control. And the product of the CBL is very high quality. The word elite is in the words Canadian Elite Basketball League, and they have to hold the standard if they're going to use a word like elite in their branding. And in some ways, they've done a good job because of the presentation and a lot of things that they're doing with it is very elite. And I would say that the talent and the skill level and the quality of the basketball in Canadian Elite Basketball League is getting close to being very, very elite. So check it out. And it's the great thing is a lot of the players that play in the CBL are Canadian and they're getting paid to play professional basketball in Canada as Canadians. And that's more straight goods on the Canadian goods. You support the CBL, you're supporting Canadian industry and economy also. So, all right, y'all, I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Raptor Freak every single day. Every single day. We're getting to get close to 1,500 streams coming up in the next couple months. 1,500 streams in a row. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, CBL. Let's go, Scarborough. Let's go, Calgary. Let's go, Winnipeg. Let's go, Niagara. Let's go, Tempo. Let's go.